This is definitely going to make reporting on the royal family a lot more interesting for all the female reporters out there. Yes, that is the press pack that go around at the bequest and request of the British monarchy. That's simply because one of their favourite people has now been given the promotion he so richly deserves. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. Nice to have your company, and as ever, thank you so much for joining me. By the way, can I just clear this up? A lot of people have been asking me about the new series of The Crown and why it doesn't feature His Royal Highness the Duke of York, Prince Andrew. Simple fact really, you know, the storyboard according to them wasn't necessarily. What I can tell you truly is this: they don't want any litigation. You keep the legal fees down, and the bottom line is that you know, they would know that everybody will be watching that to pick it apart. It's bad enough the fact that none of it's factual, completely fabricated, and a lot of fun to many people, but truly that's the reason why the Duke of York is not featured in the final series of The Crown. No two ways about it. This man though could be featured in The Crown maybe years to come. We're talking of course about affectionately known as Major Johnny Thompson, 40 years old and now being given the role, really a role that, you know, when you think about it, it's historical. I mean, he will go down in history as the person that was the right-hand man, the assisting man of King Charles III. And I think, I'm sure you'll all agree, and calm yourselves ladies, but he's just done a terrific job. Firstly, for our late and wonderful monarch, who was the first person to realise that, as she pointed out, a lot of the ladies in the sort of outside, you know, who were there to greet her, were all of a flutter as he came up behind Her Majesty the Queen. She said there's nothing like being near a good-looking man to make sure you get a little bit more attention. I thought that was good fun, actually, the fact that she simply knew that. And of course, Johnny is good-looking, there's no two ways about it. But there's a serious side to this that must hurt, in fact, his youngest son, the former royal known as Prince Harry. You see, while Harry would not have been an equerry, obviously, the role that Charles had sort of circled around for him, particularly at this time in his life, was that of, obviously, you know, a major assistance to him, going on behalf of him, representing him, assisting him, guiding him, that sort of thing. Now, let me tell you, Meghan and Harry are not thrilled with this appointment. No two ways about it. You will recall that it was, of course, Johnny sitting behind Harry and Meghan at the Platinum Jubilee celebrations, put there at the request of Her Majesty the Queen. They must have felt uncomfortable. And according to a very well-placed source, they have nothing, of course, against Johnny at all on a personal level, but you have to realise, and they realise, that now they will have to go through him in order to speak to His Majesty the King. I know, a strange thing, even though you're his son, you have to make appointments and phone calls. Now, the other side of that, as I've told you before, His Majesty King Charles does not carry a mobile phone. In fact, I don't think he knows how to work a mobile phone. He's not alone though, let me tell you. The super composer Andrew Lloyd Webber does not have a mobile phone and doesn't know how to do it. Barely can work a computer. I remember that in our green room, Lord Webber. Remember? Dame Joan Sutherland? Of course. Share more gossip later. But on a serious note, this hasn't come at a good time, of course, really, for Harry and Meghan. If they were hoping to try and find a way of connecting, reconnecting, weaving their way back in, then now they've hit a bigger obstacle than they could have possibly thought. Major Johnny is a huge social media presence, and I think this is a very canny move by His Majesty the King and Queen Camilla, giving the public exactly what they want, something good to look at, all the while gaining traction and, more importantly, hopefully, people looking at the good deeds that they're currently undertaking. Either way, for Harry and Meghan, again, another dark day. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.